information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to The Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Oh, that's right. This is The Changing Stage radio show powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks, the worldwide leader in internet talk radio. And we are brought to you by Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com. They are a great company out of National City here in San Diego, but you can get their gear all over the country, I think even internationally as well. All you have to do is go to pitbullaudio.com. And then, of course, our good friends at SIR, where they provide the gear. If you're going on tour, like our guest here has been, I assume he's used them many times, SIR at sir-usa.com. Even if you're a corporation and you want to get that back line for your special event or your audio or video, they're there for you. And I want to tell you, I've got a very special guest. I met him back in 1987 at the NAMM conference over in Anaheim, and how many years? Almost 30 years later, we're reunited.
Yeah.
Mr. Johnny Vatos, the drummer for Oingo Boingo and Oingo Boingo's Dance Party.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome, sir, man. Thank you for coming all the way down from L.A.
Yeah, I was down here because we're playing tomorrow night at the Music Box.
Yeah.
We're playing here in town right around the corner, so that's a good thing.
And my favorite venue here in town. It's a great place. I don't, it's brand new, so I don't think you've had a chance to play there just yet. But
No, not at all.
Yeah. So, I like to start these segments off with people getting to know you, and I really want them to know, Johnny, what drives you. We just were talking in the before the show kicks off, and you've been doing this for a long time, man, and some people have kind of fallen to the wayside, doing different things, out doing construction, whatever. You're still driving it, man. You're making it happen. Where did the passion start? Well,
I fell in love with the instrument at a very early age. I was watching a Sunday program called The Ed Sullivan Show, and they always had incredible big band drummers that were playing with Harry James and all that stuff. And, TV was in black and white. It was a very, very interesting time back then. And so I wanted to play drums, and my mom said, okay, well, look, because she knew I liked jazz. She said, well, if you want to be a jazz drummer, you're going to have to get a job. Or if you're going to be a rock drummer, you're going to have to get a job. But if you play everything, you won't have to get a job. So if you play all kinds of music, you won't have to get a job because you'll always be working.
Smart
and I thought, that's brilliant. I was like 15 years old. So ever since then, where
were you at that point?
In San Gabriel, in the San Gabriel Valley, and it was a single mother raising us,
Oh, awesome.
She was very, very supportive. And so I loved big band music. I started playing rock and roll. I was playing a Dixieland band. By the time I was 19, I was playing in pit shows for like Bob Hope and the Lennon Sisters and all that stuff.
Oh.
I was doing all that kind of stuff. And then right around when I was about 21, I started to go, that was the 70s already.
Slightly different than Oingo Boingo for sure.
Oh yeah. I started playing with Helen Reddy, and we toured all over the world. And
I've met her before. She's a nice lady.
Nice lady. And I was the house drummer on the Midnight Special when she was the host. So
wow.
I used to got to play with Martin Mull, all the people that didn't have drummers, Petula Clark, Frankie Avalon, all those kind of acts that would come in. And then I got to meet all the people that were playing. That was the first. I met all the guys from Weather Report, Alex Acuna, and I met Jocko.
Oh man!
I met all these people.
That must have been amazing. Jocko was.
It was amazing. It was.
I'm a bass player, so that's why it's like you just piqued my interest.
Well, and it was during the 70s. The first time I saw Jocko, I met him then during the Midnight Special, but a couple of years before, I saw him with Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders, and he was
heard that name right.
Oh, it was unbelievable. The master of Blue-Eyed Soul. He played the Troubadour for a week. I went 3 nights in a row, not in a row, but in the week, just to watch him play. If the music makes you feel like dancing, it's all right. He was like ripping the funkiest stuff.
Oh man,
he was amazing. So so I'm just kind of running over that. By the end of the '70s, I did some shows with Tony Basil and some of the guys from Devo and stuff, and Steve Bartek and Danny Elfman were in the audience, and they thought, boy, we'd love to play with a drummer who's this good. This guy's an animal. So they asked me to join the band, and they go, oh, and by the way, we wear monkey suits and jump around. So it was called the Mystic Nights of the Oingo Boingo, and it really touched on my vaudeville and my early jazz stuff because he did Duke Ellington tunes and all that stuff.
Yeah, the sound was very diversified. I mean, you can never, even though it was classified new wave,
right?
It wasn't, you weren't pigeonholed in any certain type of.
This was even pre-new wave. This was the vaudeville act. So after we dropped the name Mystic Nights, we became Oingo Boingo, and then we became the anti-rock band, just like you're describing.
Yeah, yeah.
We would look at each other and go, no, we don't want to do that. That's what other rock bands do. We don't want to do that. And so we had this little rock and roll snob thing going on. And it was so funny because back then I'd go to all these publicity stuff, and they'd have all these hair bands, White Snake.
Yeah.
Oh, the hairband after hairband, and I'd have my mohawk or my.
Well, I had the picture of you with a shaved head before Jordan was doing it. So
it was really fun. So that's the '80s. After the band broke up, I started playing with Tito and Tarantula. We were in that movie From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah. I remember that one. Yeah,
Quentin Tarantino movie.
You guys were doing. Tito Larita was doing a lot of stuff in LA. I was living. That's when I met you in '87. I was living down there. I was going to school, and I was working for a magazine, and got a chance to go to the NAMM show, and you guys were all over the scene. That was when, to me, the club scene in Los Angeles was happening. It was awesome.
So with you asked me initially what kind of keeps me going. I've been fortunate to always play with the best players, and I think that's the one advice I can always give to anyone: play with the best players. Don't waste your time playing with guys that don't want to show up to practice, guys that don't want to learn their scales, guys that don't want to do the work. Hey, just say thank you very much, goodbye, and go home and practice and find somebody else, because being able to play with some of the best players, you're going to play all kinds of different kinds of music, and it's going to always keep it really interesting.
Yeah, it elevates your abilities and help you grow into other areas, because they're going to bring different elements to the table that you wouldn't normally have been exposed to.
Yeah, until you give 110% in any musical situation, everybody's comfortable and excited that you're playing. It takes the music to another level.
Yeah.
And so that's the sign of a real hardworking, true musician and human being in a band that you want.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You were talking about going to different genres. When you were young, what was your picture of where you would be in like 5-10 years? I mean, were you thinking about that at that time, or
no? I always knew it's like traveling. I always knew that things would come with the job, and if I took the time, like I found the best drum teacher in the whole world, and I've studied music, and so I knew.
Let's give a shout out to the drum teacher,
Freddie Gruber. Freddie Gruber was a great drum teacher. Taught like everyone from Neil Peart to Dave Weckl to Jim Keltner to myself to Vinnie Caliuta to. He's taught
a few people that have some names.
He's just ridiculous, and he was my mentor. I even named my son Freddie after him.
Oh, awesome! That's a good testament for sure.
But his sense of tools and how the instrument works allowed me to play, stuff that I don't even talk about. We're not even talking about the fact that I play with avant-garde jazz. I'm in the Art Ensemble of Chicago, and I love free jazz and. I love all this really weird, crazy African music and stuff that I never get a chance to play, but I love it, and it keeps my interest and all the juices in my brain flowing.
Now, were those interests always there? Did you start developing it as you started to explore? You started touring and doing all these different things.
No, there's a simple thing happens. When you let yourself go to your particular idea and your concept. And my concept was all music is good, everything's great. So it left me wide open and really open and sensitive to enjoy, Chick Corea and Circle and people playing free ECM stuff, just totally nuts, and all kinds of different things. So I never I never really thought anything was bad or strange. I thought it was all very interesting and in a great direction.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting because, I grew up. I'm living one of my dreams right now because I was a huge fan of Boingo back when I was in high school, and when I got a chance to meet you, I was like, wow, that's, you're in the, I was in the media business, but you always get, when you have idols and people that you respect, and you guys were the players band. Most people who were into music listened to the band because you guys took it to a different level. You weren't just playing, the 2 chords, 3 chords. You were really building that music up. How was that process when you were starting to build that sound early on, dissecting it and doing the things that you were doing, bringing horns in when horns weren't necessarily found within the rock music genre at that point?
Right. Well, the whole soup, gelling soup, was basically Danny's great, incredible, crazy ability to just write music 24/7. Yeah. He can do 3 movies at this time. Right now, 3 movies at the same time, and keep that all straight in his brain. So he would always bring this incredible, all this music. And Steve Bartek, who was a totally unassuming master of orchestration, and he's just bad as I am. We both played with Don Ellis's band, and we would just do the craziest jobs together. But he's so inventive and so creative. And he was just absolutely amazing. So it was that pull of a great band, great musicians, and a great writer. It all just worked, and it gave us a venue to actually play as crazy as we did.
That is awesome. We're going to be taking a commercial break here in a few short moments here. This has been the Changing Stage Radio Show first segment, and we got so much more to talk about with the amazing Johnny Vatos. This is Johnny Vatos' takeover of our show today, and we're a special broadcast. You'll be also hearing this rebroadcast on our normal times at Saturday at 12. And I just want to give a shout out to Pitbull Audio. You guys are doing a great job down there. Keep on going, supplying all these talented musicians with the gear. We'll be right back in a few short minutes.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Thank you for listening to WS Radio. Improve your business and your life with useful information from experts and thought leaders. WS Radio is radio with ROI.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goley, one thing that you've helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get to the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
In the military, things can change in an instant. At Navy Mutual Aid Association, we understand because it's our life too. That's why our dedication to serving the life insurance needs of our military veterans and their families is unrivaled. Navy Mutual offers superior life insurance protection without military service restrictions and limitations. A single focus on providing the peace of mind military families are looking for. That's what we do. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve. Call 800-628-6011 or go to NavyMutual.org.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. Vin Village connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. Vin Village is where wine lovers connect. Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Yeah, we are back on the Changing Stage Radio Show special broadcast. I got tongue-tied there. Brought to you by Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com, SIR at SIR-USA.com. And I also want to let you know we are on WS Radio Networks, the worldwide leader in internet talk radio, with Johnny Vatos Takeover from Oingo Boingo Dance Party.
Yeah.
And we've been talking a bit about his passions and his coming up in the business, and we always have some good conversations in between the breaks, so we're going to kind of allude to that. We were talking about where that passion, why your longevity is here, and some of the things that you prepared for early on that most of us want to be rock stars don't think about. And I think it's important that you set yourself up as a professional. Right. So let's kind of talk a bit about that.
You know, when I was growing up, it was back in the 60s, and there's a famous movie now you can check out called The Wrecking Crew. And it was always older guys that were playing, and I was 19, and I noticed I was playing with guys that were like 35, 40 years old because they knew music, and I kind of liked it. And I started to realize, well, I'm going to be playing like this all the rest of my life. So I started to take a look at dancers' injuries and see what happened to feet, and I started to ask around at the professional drum shop, like checking out people's with their back problems, and they get certain amounts of tendonitis and all that stuff. So I incorporated all that knowledge into finding the best drum teacher. And basically, when you're playing my instrument, you basically have to sit up straight like a ballet dancer, and all your appendages kind of hang free, and there should be no tension. You're almost like when your arm and your hands. Remember, when your arms fall asleep at night, and it flops out of your bed.
Yeah.
That's how relaxed I play, and that's how relaxed you have to play, so that you don't get carpal tunnel and you don't get stressed out, and you can play very loud and very quickly, but with a lot of control. And I knew I was going to be doing it a real long time, and that's why sometimes I'm amazed at how many decades I'm still going.
Yeah, there's a lot of, carpal tunnel is a really big problem for drummers.
Sure.
Because they're playing too hard. I had a buddy who was a big 80s player, and he used to play on those Simmons kits with the small piece of plastic over the hard wood, and that just killed his whole drum career.
Oh, it did. And when they came out, they were following me all, Simmons. They wanted me to play them. So what I did was I took the Simmons brain, and I got an 8-inch drum, and I put an SM57 in it with some foam. I plugged that microphone into a mic preamp, and I EQ'd out all the crosstalk from all the rest of the drums. I found a dead zone, I spiked it, and it became my trigger. And the fact that it had air, and the fact that it was a moving microphone membrane, it would push the digital information, because there is digital anomalies. It's not just numbers. It would overstress them, and so that's what I used live. If you can remember back in 84, 85, I had an electronic kick drum and electronic toms. We thought it would save a lot of time for our sound check if we had the preset drum sounds already set. So we went through all that. But yeah, the Simmons were just that was just so bad for your body.
I'm really digging the fact that you made your own triggers, man.
Yeah.
Because drums didn't have triggers at the time. You had Simmons,
right,
and that was it. You had these the octagon pads, and then eventually some of the other ones rolled in. You had, Roland, and Yamaha started building stuff, and then, of course, Simmons kind of faded away.
I was into electronic stuff. I built my first Dynaco stereo preamp, with a kit, and
Wow.
I had like when the first Sinaires and all the different electronic drums came out, I hand wired it and built it. So I was into the whole electronics thing.
Yeah.
And it's helped me later on to wire my little home studio and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't want to take us away from what we were talking about,
No.
but I thought that was really crucial for all the drummers listening right now, that how you approached the understanding of you wanted to have a career as fruitful as you did back when you were in your 20s as you are now, and then on to more the twilight years, because you're still the best is yet to come, I think, with Johnny right now.
Yeah, thank you. It's true, because the truth in it is that you have to be true to the music.
Yeah.
And no matter what age you are, if you can pull it off, that's really good. I'm sure there's going to become a time that I won't be able to pull off the Oingo Boingo music. And it's a matter of it's the real world,
Yeah.
And so, but I'm slamming pretty darn good.
Yeah. And I want to kind of give again a shout out for the show at the Music Box this Friday. You guys are going to be going on you got an opening band, so I think the doors open I know they open at 7:00 because we do a lot of stuff there. We're going to be there tonight. I'm going to do a shout out to my folks at Balanced Breakfast Music Industry Meetup. We'll be there tonight, basically getting together, talking about the business stuff that we're talking about right now and how we can help build a stronger community. And you're going to be there tomorrow night at the Music Box, which is, it's definitely, if you're not in San Diego, you're listening outside of San Diego and you get here, that's the club to go to. They just built it up. It's beautiful. It's got a big giant video screen. And if you can be here tomorrow night, that's going to be a huge night.
Yeah, that's going to be great. We got this band called Maruja open for us, and they're kind of like a fun ska, punk kind of thing going on, and they're from the hood. So, órale, ¿cómo estás? Bien, gracias. So that's kind of cool. It's actually going to be a pretty fun night. And, about 6 months ago, I pulled out my original DW drums from the that I used with Boingo for years. I used on the farewell tour.
Wow.
And they're so sweet. I just I'll be playing that DW kit. I have my great trash marching snare, which I made off to the side. I was trying to get that electronic drum sound, but I ended up just making a fiberglass drum and drilled a bunch of like doorknob holes in it, so it was really ugly and gooey. And then I just beat it and make it sound really awful. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you think about musicians, especially drummers, and we briefly talked in '87. It wasn't like we were running buddies, but we get a chance to talk now. You were really showing me that your whole analytical process to everything, whether it be gear, whether it be drumming, it's amazing, man. I'm surprised you because you definitely have the wild man persona on stage.
Sure.
Were you like that when you were younger? Were you the wild man, or was it more? Like I said, the analytical?
I'm very analytical. In my early years, I was kind of a snob. I was kind of a musician snob because, like I said, if you're going to only play with the best players, you're playing really good, and you're going to look at them and go, I can't play with you. So that kind of made me a snob. But no,
I can't see that, actually. I cannot see it because you're such a sweetheart of a guy, man. But I guess as players go, I've got friends that are that way as well, and they're good friends of mine. But and they're sweetheart, but I could only play with this kind of player,
Yeah. So Anyway, I lost my place.
Oh, we were just talking about how you were, you were originally a snob, but then you're very analytical.
I'm extremely analytical. One time my drum teacher, because I just loved him, so I loved taking drum lessons from him, and he grabbed my arm and I go, what? He goes, your head's always going to get in your way. You know that, don't you? I'm like, okay. Well, thanks for the warning, because I had just practiced something so well and so wrong.
Yeah.
I had to relearn a lesson that he goes, no, you turned it completely around, but it was right for your brain. But, but it's totally wrong for what I want.
It's kind of interesting when you think that, because we are kind of in a quandary. Being an artist, you're supposed to let go. You're not supposed to think about it at all. But, it's a business. So you have to have your mind on your money and your money on your mind. So it's kind of one of those, catch-22s, right?
That's actually my major dilemma right now. My major dilemma in my career and in my life and everything is that, there's an element. I play free jazz, and I love that element that where you don't know what you're going to play. You can't play a regular drum beat. You've got to work intuitively with all that's around you, and it's so incredibly incredible. It's such a great experience for the performer. So I'm having such a great time. But now the dilemma is: do you want to get to the point where you always know where you're going? Where you control every lit? Where you actually wipe out that whole feeling? You're so good, you're so incredibly perfect that you can never make another mistake. And so consequently, like, why play? It's that unknown. Do I want to make the I want to be extremely perfect at everything I do and not play anything else, or am I just going to be the savant brain that I want and just relax and have a good time, have a glass of wine, and
it's that juggling.
It's the juggling.
And I can see that's tougher for you because being a drummer, you're part of the whole reason being a drummer. You get a chance to do a whole lot of stuff at once.
Right.
If you're a guitar player, you might sing and play guitar, but you're not doing a whole lot of different things with your hands are all together. Drums, you're like
crazy man.
You're crazy man. You're Animal from the Muppets, man. So we've got about 30 seconds left. Let's give a shout out to where people can find Oingo Boingo's Dance Party.
You can find it at oingoboingodanceparty.com, and you can find it on Facebook at Oingo Boingo Dance Party, and you can just say hello to Johnny Vatos Hernandez on Facebook.
Yeah, there you go. So we are into our second segment, having a great time with Johnny Vatos Takeover here on our special broadcast of the Changing Stage radio show, powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks, the worldwide leader in Internet Talk Radio. And I want to give a big shout out to SIR at SIR-USA.com. I know, Johnny, you've used them many times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're an incredible company. Great guys, too. Having been in business for this long and still being so sweetheart guys, it's amazing. Stay tuned. We've got some more Johnny Vatos, Oingo Boingo Dance Party coming up in this next segment. Stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get to the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life, live it well.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. BIZVID communications.com. Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
We are back for the third segment of the Changing Stage radio show on WSRadio.com, the worldwide leader in internet talk radio. And we are here with Johnny Vatos, takeover from Oingo Boingo Dance Party. We'll be here this Friday. You got to make it out to the music box because it's going to be freaking awesome.
It's going to be so much fun. The band is so it's just too exciting for me to even imagine, because it's so exciting because it's left my hands. I have no control over it.
Yeah.
It's like
what pandemonium's going to ensue. That's all I have to say. So it's going to be a great time and an amazing time. And I always want to bring back some of the stuff we were talking about during the commercial breaks. We were basically just talking about how going from the original thing that we were talking about, how juggling, trying to control it with the analytical side of the brain versus just letting chaos ensue and pandemonium come about. And then we started kind of getting into, we were kind of talking about singers and how that kind of comes out. Right. And you had some very, very key points about singers and how they should approach a note.
There's one of the things I can say, there was this, we had a band open for us with Tito and Tarantula. Was on tour this spring and in the summer. In Europe and stuff, and we had a band that was opening for us, and there was this kid, the band will remain nameless, went to MIT or all that stuff, could play guitar, unbelievable, could write really nice, had a natural charisma, and could command the crowd, but he liked to drink, and he threw away too many notes. And so that's the whole thing.
Kind of explain what you mean by throwaway notes for some of the new listeners.
One of the things that's really awful is when, or something that I would advise anybody that wants to be a singing superstar, is never throw away a note. Practice your scales, really get them, but never throw away a note. You can affect a note. You can come off the note if you know where you're going.
Yeah.
You can, if you plan it and it's all set up and it's something that you're doing, then it's a conscious thing. But never throw away a note. What happens is there's a thing I call the law of the jungle, and there's some incredible things that happen in the law of the jungle. Laws of the jungles. There are certain drummers you can hear all the way down the street when you're coming up to the block, because there's enough space and they're playing, and the law of the jungle dictates you can't stop that vibration.
Yeah.
The law of the jungle also, when it comes to singers, one of the things that mesmerizes us as animals is when you look at a singer, and like Freddie Mercury or something, and you're listening to every note and you're going, oh my God, he's not, no. You're waiting for him to make a mistake or to show some sort of human sign, but no, he's singing every note, and he's taking you and he's wrapping you around his emotion, and he never let the note go. And at the very end, the concert ends, and he never let a note go.
Yeah.
And it's a law of the jungle. It takes your breath away.
Yeah.
I was at a club the other night, and I was watching Bear McCreary's wife, Rhea Yarborough, sing, and she's at a club and she writes her own songs. And
Bear McCreary is a huge songwriter for Hollywood for the TV shows. He does like Agent Carter. He does Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
His big time uptime composer.
So his wife must be amazing as well.
She's just amazing. And so I sat there. I was at the Baked Potato, and I sat there, and I couldn't stop staring at her and wondering when she was going to drop a note. She's singing these jazz songs always keeping in time. And it just went on and on and on. And it just like, it was like every note just went on, and it never went, no, it never, she never gave away a note. And I felt like, you remember Frank Booth when he was watching in Blue Velvet? He's watching Isabella Rossellini sing Blue Velvet, and he's sitting there like chewing on a piece of blue velvet. That's the way I felt. I felt like, oh my gosh, this singer is just tearing me apart. And what happens is it makes the place get so quiet you could hear a pin drop because people are doing that, and you find that in classical music, where people are just overly hypersensitive to harmonic structure, and they're playing the note, and sometimes they take the life out of it. But nonetheless, it's mesmerizing, and it's almost like this animal thing. And so that's just my thing. I've hired and fired many singers, and I've worked with so many.
You've worked with some of the greatest.
Some of the greatest.
Danny is an amazing singer. He went the direction of our soundtrack writing.
Oh yeah,
he's
one of the best singers ever.
Yeah,
because I'm also, I hate to say it, I'm also very spoiled, and I get bored very easily. So one of the cool things with Danny is that the songs were always great, and I always had him as loud as my bass drum in my monitor, and I heard every note. I hung on every time, every show he played. It was magnificent.
That's awesome. Obviously, he's got a whole different calling right now besides performing live. But I guess he did perform live not too long ago, doing all his soundtrack stuff.
Yeah, he did. I've gone to go see those shows, and he's real happy, and I'm his friend, so I'm real happy for him, and that's really kind of cool.
Yeah. And you've got an amazing, good friend, amazing singer as well.
Oh,
Mr.
Brendan McCrary is just a
brother of Bear.
Brendan's an incredible singer, and one of the coolest things about the band is that one of the things that freaked Danny out is that I'm a fan of the band, and so I made sure when I got together and started playing some of the music, I found a fan. Brendan grew up playing Oingo Boingo music, listening to it, and he was 15, and he came to our farewell show. His mother dragged him to his show. So we got to see our last performance, and he's an amazing, well-schooled USC trained.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing we were talking about. He knows how.
And he's one of the guys who could actually do Freddie Mercury well.
Yes.
So, and that's not easy. That's not a call that most people can answer.
No, he's an amazing singer, and so he's taken on. He's not trying to put a stick up his butt and act like Danny. He's actually taken on the music himself and makes it really makes it his own, but yet honors that whole tradition. And the band is so powerful. It will mow over a singer that's not as good as him.
Yeah. You have to be. And here's the cool thing: what people don't realize, you guys are playing songs that people do not have on their CDs or records. These are all the hidden gems that you only played live in the original. So and nobody else can play them. Just Oingo Boingo Dance Party.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm hoping that I have a lot of hope for the younger generation. I figure in about 5-6 years, a bunch of young kids are going to come up and go, "Hey, Vatos, why don't you come out to Pennsylvania, listen to us play your music?" and I'm going to find some kids who are going to find that spark, because it's a certain, I would feel inspired if I could find somebody who could do what we do.
Yeah.
But I haven't yet.
But you know what? Here's what I will say: there are groups coming out that are kind of taking the whole funk, alternative, indie sound, bringing horns back. We've got a group here in town that. There's a couple of them that would be that would fit within that genre. There's the Village Squares, and then we have Todomundo. These are all groups that are kind of coming up and that they're embracing that sound. So I think you might be seeing that pretty soon in the near future.
And you're funny that you're saying that, but I am noticing that, and to me it makes me feel like, oh boy, we got a neighborhood to hang out in again, because it's true. It's really cool.
Yeah, and so I know that everyone needs to come out and hear those songs, because it's here's what I was telling when I was talking to the guys over at the Music Box and the bookers over there at UCSD. Your sound is as relevant today as it was back in the 80s when I was going to high school. And I'm definitely not in high school age anymore. So, how do you explain that, man?
Well, because it's got a punky edge. It's got a full of vitality, which I pump into it, and John and all the rest of the guys in the band. And it's
and most of the original members are still with you, right?
Well, 5 out of the 8 will be there on we'll be there on Friday.
So that's
Yeah, Steve Bartek, John Avila, myself, Sluggo Phipps, Carl Graves, and Doug Lacey, who's played with us for years.
Yeah.
Played all our shows. And then a great band. And Brendan's just an amazing cherry on top, man.
Yeah,
He's just, and it's just,
and he gets the girls going too.
it does. It does. And it's funny, but it even has Steve and John and I have a real personal feel for this music, and we pretty much have handpicked, Brendan. We can't do it unless he's doing it, and we handpicked. When Steve can't make it, we needed a lead guitar player, so. Woody, they picked Woody, John, and picked Woody. And when John can't make it, I needed a bass player. I found my son. And I said,
"Oh, man.
You got some little shoes to fill here, buddy." And sure enough, he's an amazing player. He's a classical player, plays symphonic work all in town.
I could only imagine that you would set him on the right track.
Well, yeah. He's well beyond me at this point. He's a great player. And so
is he playing this, or is it?
Yeah, actually, Freddie and John are playing.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys really got to come out and see this show.
Oh, it's so much. I'm excited. I might not be able to sleep tonight. In fact, it's a good thing because we're going to be on the news tomorrow. We're going to be on Fox. What is it?
You got a 5 morning call for that.
Friday. Yeah, it's quite an early morning. It's Fox in the morning.
Yeah. Which will be good because I think I'm going to venture to say you're going to have guests from all different walks of life as well as age groups going to be out there. It's going to be huge. This has been the Changing Stage Radio Show, 3rd segment. We've got one more segment, so stay tuned. We are powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks, the worldwide leader in Internet Talk Radio, Pitbull Audio, and SIR. Thank you guys for always making this happen, making a little boy from Sacramento, make dreams come true. We'll be right back.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this This is your life, live it well.
Which sandwich is healthy and tasty? Which sandwich can come on bread or in a bowl? Which sandwich comes 51 different ways, so it's always your way? A which sandwich. Stop into our shop in Hazard Center. We're upstairs from the Hazard Center Digiplex. Bring in your movie ticket. We will add a free drink and chips to your sandwich order. Or order online at whichwich.com, and we will have it ready and waiting. WHICH, whichwich.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Yeah, it's the fourth segment of the Changing Stage radio show powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks, the worldwide leader in Internet Talk Radio. And we are brought to you by Pitbull and Pitbull at pitbullaudio.com and SIR at SIR-USA.com. Whether you're at Pitbull, talk to Calvin and his team over there, or Jim here in San Diego at their San Diego branch in Pacific Beach, or just give them, look them up. They're both national companies. We've had Johnny Vatos take over today, and we are talking just some fun topics. We were just last touching on, we were in the break talking about, what drives us to do what we're doing and how, not letting structure be too conforming and put us in a box.
Right.
Yeah. So, that's kind of an interesting thing. You've been doing this for so many years now. You started in the 70s, right? When was your first professional gig?
I've been playing since I was in 8th grade. So let's see. I think my first club gig, which was really bizarre, you could actually do at that age. I was like 15. And so I was playing 4 nights a week in a supper club.
What you need to do, folks, you're listening here, go out and find Johnny's mom and have her adopt you. That's what I got to tell you.
She was wonderful. She let me do all that. When I was 17, I did a USO tour. I went to Vietnam in the height of the occupation.
Wow.
That was...
Surprised they didn't try to draft you, man.
Oh, man, that was so silly, and it really taught me all about that whole war concept. I traveled as a GS-15 rating, which was a colonel. I had T-bone steaks every night, hung out with the officers, and watched them party and go silly while all these young kids were out in the trenches, and we were playing shows for them. It was a whole crazy time, but my mom signed the release for that, so you can find her. She'll sign a release for your son too. Just go on a USO tour.
That's incredible. So you've seen a lot of different things here, and 1 hour is just never enough. With somebody of your history and what I found is just your wisdom in all areas of music, whether it be theory, music, technology, making your own triggers back when there was no such thing as really triggers. You had you had that, so that's pretty incredible. Through all of that right now, and your Oingo Boingo Dance Party is kind of reemerging as almost it's like a fresh new band in many ways, though it's got a lot of the elements from the original. You're creating this whole new dynamic. What do you see this industry is where it's going, and how do you see you navigating it compared to before, and what's the future of Oingo Boingo Dance Party?
Well, the navigation process is your own boat, is your own motorhome or your own bus, and people that will get on it with you, because nowadays the money's being made in live performance and selling of merchandise, and these deals where you get a record deal and it's a 360 deal, and they just send you a monthly check, and millions of dollars are kind of being handed every which way. Just doesn't leave a performer when that's all done with anything he can kind of count on or actually have anything to follow up on. I think I'm not expecting anything more other than word of mouth to get out with Oingo Boingo Dance Party. I think the key element was to finally break through the snares of the lawyers, Danny's lawyers and all that stuff, because he wasn't really particularly excited that we were out playing the music because he was working in the studio.
Yeah.
And he, when you're working in the studio and you're moving a million miles an hour, then you get people poking you in the shirt going, hey, Johnny's playing drums. When are you going to go play with him? Hey, Steve's playing the music. When are you going to go play with him? Hey. Well, he didn't want to hear about that, so it was kind of difficult to get out of the gate. But then some recent stuff happened, and he joined our side and saw nothing of it, and he started playing, and now he's a worldwide success.
Yeah.
So actually, nothing that we could ever do could ever be a threat to him. So
Yeah.
he's a worldwide international singing star and composer, and so he just finally gave us his blessing. And so for the last 6 months or so, it's actually been really good, and hopefully we'll be working more and more.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of that, but it's also a matter of, I always just wanted to play drums, but now I'm a producer. Now I'm producing shows. I do the laminates. I call for the hotels. I do set up all the rehearsals, make sure the arrangements are done.
This business is requiring musicians to be business people as well. You can't get away with being Jimi Hendrix anymore.
No.
Getting off stage, having all the the sex and drugs you want while somebody else is covering the bit. The ship. You got to actually cover the ship as well as make the product.
Yeah. It's funny. Dan, I'd be like sitting in the back smoking a joint, and Danny would be doing all the work. And he'd look at me and go, John, I hate you. You're sitting over there hanging out, partying, drinking beer, and I have to go work 24/7. Well, now I'm the leader of this band, and I never stop. It's like from 6 in the morning, because international calls, to 10 or 11 at night. And it has nothing to do with music. So
because you're wrangling everything from management, all that stuff. So
so it's a lot of work, but at the same time, no one's going to do it for you, and the business dynamic is such that we have to do a lot of the work ourselves. Whether it's in the movie industry, which I'm involved with a lot of movie actors and stuff, and they have entire casts, that are with lights and whole productions that are just done off the cuff. All these actors write scripts and screenplays and do all these hours and hours and hours of work. Now when you present a show and you hand it to somebody, I pitched a show a while back called Pyramid Johnny and his Traveling Medicine Show, and it was me going out interviewing a bunch of crazy people that I love, and so I pitched a show, and that was fine. I actually was able to pitch the show. But now when you pitch a show, you have to pitch a show with 15 episodes in the can. 20 episodes in the can. And they won't give you any money. They'll just run it for about 10 segments to see if they even get it.
If they catch fire. That is it. We're doing that with Ban Diego, so I understand the process.
Yeah, it's that tough. It's a tough time.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things too is that and the inspirational things from the street value, from the whole jungle side of it, is that you have to really love it, and you have to really write great tunes, and you really have to be concerned. I went to the NAMM show last year, and I met all these Nashville drummers. A friend of mine knows a bunch of them, and so it's a whole other genre. And this guy goes, "You got to come down here. I play with my girlfriend's band. She's a lead singer, and we write and all that stuff." And I'm thinking, the Hilton, okay, Saturday night. I got there. 5 o'clock set, my jaw was on the ground. Every song was a winner. The girl never threw away a note. Not.
I'm gonna steal that, man.
Oh, never. I was like going, wait a minute, we're only at the Hilton and we're all drinking. Never threw away a note. It was mesmerizing. It was such a wonderful thing, and just the overall passion and drive. It's driven musicianship up, and the enjoyment factor for people like you and me, who like to go hear players.
Yeah, exactly.
They're better, and the ones that are on fire are like, whoa.
They you know what? Some people think that music isn't better. I just think that because they're looking for the lowest common denominator in media right now, that's the representation of that. But there's a lot of great music. Brendan's original stuff is amazing. So, and there's tons of bands that are out there. You know what, Johnny? We're running out. We got like 30 seconds left.
We're gonna have to do this again.
Yeah, bro. We gotta have to have you back on. Yeah. We have to have you guys come down and play here often, as much as your time and your busy schedule permit. Because this has been a fun time. It's like I said. It's like catching up with an old friend after all these years.
It is. It's so much fun. I've had such a great time. Thank you. What a great program.
Well, thank you. And this has been the Changing Stage radio show powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks. I want to thank Johnny Vatos and Oingo Boingo Dance Party. And Brendan, if you're listening, hey, man, enjoy your time here. We will be back again this Saturday with Alan Sanderson, who is an incredible engineer. And then, of course, we'll be doing a rebroadcast of this special broadcast with Johnny Vatos Takeover. Again, thanks again to Pitbull Audio and SIR. You guys rock. And Pit Music Box. Keep doing what you're doing. If you get a chance, come out. We'll be there tonight with the Balanced Breakfast.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Progressive Medical.
Hey, this is Heidi Rue, and Progressive Medical Center has literally changed my life and my health, but I'm not the only one. Adele suffered from bone deterioration, bone overgrowth, profound muscle discomfort, physical exhaustion, and mental fog. In fact, the bone deterioration becomes so serious that she had to have back surgery. Well, after the surgery, she still didn't feel well, and so that's when she heard about Progressive Medical Center. Progressive Medical Center discovered that her adrenals weren't working properly, her hormones were out of whack, and the drugs she had been taking were doing more harm than good. Adele came into Progressive Medical Center in a walker, physically and mentally exhausted. But now she's a world traveler. She hikes and walks several miles a day, and it's all thanks to Progressive Medical Center. 770-676-6000. 770-676-6000.
Progressive Medical. This is your life. Live it well.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.